The room was silent after Ambassador Jum Kim finished his report. 20 of Earth's most powerful leaders sat around the oval table, faces pale with worry. The screens behind Jum still showed images of the Tarok warriors. Tall, strong aliens with hard outer shells covering their bodies. 1 year, said the United States President, breaking the silence. They give us 1 year before they come to take our planet. General Hannah Lee stood up, her uniform crisp and neat. We must fight. Our missiles, our tanks. We'll do nothing. Jum cut in. Their ships can stop our weapons before they hit. Their armor can take direct hits from our biggest guns. The room fell quiet again. Then a voice spoke from the back of the room. We don't need better weapons. We need better bodies. All heads turned to look at Do-Yeon Park. He was not supposed to be in this meeting. As an advisor on defense technology, he usually wrote reports, not attended high-level talks. But Jun had asked him to come today. Do-Yeon walked to the front of the room. He was not tall, but he moved with purpose. The Tarok are stronger than us. Their bodies are better than ours in every way. We cannot change our bodies in 1 year. But we can build around them. He touched a button, and a new picture appeared on the screen. It showed a human-shaped machine, like a metal suit. Powered armor. Exoskeletons. Machines that make humans stronger, faster, more protected. Do-Yeon looked around the room. And I know where we can make them. Detroit. Some people laughed. One minister from Europe spoke up. Detroit? The old car city. It's half empty now. Exactly, said Do-Yeon. But the factories are still there. The machines. And most importantly, the knowledge. Detroit once made a car every minute during World War II. Then they switched to making tanks and planes. If Detroit could change the world then, it can save the world now. The room buzzed with talk. The president raised a hand for quiet. Even if this works, who will design these machines? Who will run the factories? I will find them, Do-Yeon said. Give me the power to do this, and I will find the people we need. 3 days later, Do-Yeon stood in the rain outside a tall glass building in Seoul. He checked his watch again. She was late. Maybe she wouldn't come. Then he saw her, Minji Kang, walking fast with no umbrella, letting the rain soak her expensive coat. She stopped in front of him. You're asking me to give up my job, my apartment, and move to Detroit, she said, to build fighting robots. Not robots. Extensions of humans. And yes, that's what I'm asking. Minji laughed. I have the best engineering job in Korea. I make 3 times what the government can pay me. If we fail, money won't matter anymore. Do-Yeon handed her a tablet showing pictures of the Tarok. This is what's coming in 1 year. Minji looked at the images for a long time. Then she handed back the tablet. When do we leave? 1 week later, they arrived in Detroit. The city was not what it once was. Many old buildings stood empty, but huge factory buildings still lined the river. Some were working, making cars or parts. Many were silent. As their car drove through the city, Minji looked out the window. So much space, so many empty buildings. Perfect for what we need to do, said Do-Yeon. We'll start with the people. The city still has good engineers, metalworkers, factory experts. But we need to find the old ones too. The old ones. People who remember how Detroit worked at its peak. People who know how to make thousands of identical, perfect machines every day. Their cars stopped at an apartment building. A very old man waited outside. That's Hyun Choi, said Do-Yeon. He's 78. He ran assembly lines for 40 years. He knows things that aren't in any book or computer. The old man got in the car. His hands were big and still strong, with scars from years of work. You want to build machines to fight aliens? Hyun asked. Yes, said Do-Yeon. The old man smiled. Good. Detroit knows how to build things that last. Detroit knows how to build things that fight. He looked out at his city. They think we're finished. They think we're done. But Detroit has been down before. Detroit always gets back up. The three of them drove on, toward the first factory that would help save the world. The old factory building was huge. Wind whistled through broken windows. Dust covered the floors. But Hyun Choi walked through it like it was still 1985, pointing out where each machine had once stood. Assembly line ran this way, he said, walking a straight line across the big room. We made 200 cars every day in this building alone. Minji followed him, taking notes on her tablet. And you think we can use this place again? With work, yes. Hyun knocked on a support beam. This building is strong. Detroit builds things to last. Behind them, Do-hyun led a group of government officials through the factory. They looked doubtful. One woman in a suit spoke quietly to Do-hyun. This looks like a waste of money. Why not build a new factory? No time, said Do-hyun. We have less than a year. That night, Do-hyun, Minji, and Hyun sat in a small office. Maps of Detroit covered the walls. Lists of names filled screens. We need more people, said Minji. Engineers, yes, but also welders, electricians, assembly workers. The young ones don't know the old ways, said Hyun. They learn on computers now, but to make what we need, we must build like we used to build. Do-hyun rubbed his tired eyes. Where do we find these people? I know where, Han said. They're still here. In Detroit, in small repair shops, in their garages. Some are retired, but their hands remember. The next morning, Hyun took them to a small auto repair shop. A woman in her 60s worked under a car. Her name was Sun Kim. Best welder in Michigan, Hyun told them. She can join metal so perfectly you can't see where it connects. Sun rolled out from under the car. Her face was lined with age, her hands marked with small burn scars. Hyun says you're building something big, she said, wiping her hands on a rag. We're building humanity's defense, said Do-hyun. We need people who know how to make things right the first time. Sun looked at him for a long moment. When do I start? Day by day, they gathered more people. Old factory workers, young engineers, people who knew machines, people who knew metal, people who knew Detroit. Meanwhile, strange objects appeared in the sky. Small, silver discs that watched from high above. The Terok were keeping an eye on Earth. Let them watch, said Do-hyun as one disc hovered over the factory. They see broken buildings, old people. They don't understand what we're doing. Inside the factory, things were changing. New power lines ran to old buildings. Trucks brought machines, metal, and tools. Engineers worked day and night on designs. Welders practiced joining new, special metals that were stronger than normal steel. One morning, Minji found Hyun training young workers. He held up what looked like a car door hinge, but bigger and more complex. This is how we did it in my day, he told them. Each person does one job, perfectly, every time. Not fast at first. Speed comes later. First, we get it right. A young man asked, "Can't robots do this better?" Hyun shook his head. Robots do what they're told. But they don't think. They don't feel. They don't care if Earth lives or dies. You do. That matters. That evening, Do-hyun found Minji working late. She had fallen asleep at her desk, surrounded by design plans. On her screen was a drawing of a suit of armor, shaped like a human but bigger, stronger. Do-hyun looked at the design. It was good, but something was missing. He picked up a pencil and paper, something the older workers still used. He began to draw, thinking about cars, tanks, and the old machines of Detroit. By morning, when Minji woke up, she found Do-hyun's drawing next to her tablet. She looked at it for a long time, then smiled. He had seen what she missed. The design didn't need to be fancy or high-tech. It needed to be tough, simple, easy to fix, easy to build, like the cars Detroit used to make, like Detroit itself. Outside, another Terok watching disc floated in the sky. It recorded humans entering the old factory, carrying metal and tools. The Terok watched but did not understand. They saw weakness where there was strength. They saw the past where the future was being built. They thought humans were soft. They didn't know about Detroit. 4 months passed. Winter turned to spring. Inside the biggest factory building, people gathered around a large object covered with a tarp. Do-hyun stood next to Minji, both looking tired but happy. "Today we show the world what Detroit can do," Do-hyun said. Among the crowd were government officials, military leaders, and news reporters. They had come to see if the Detroit initiative was worth the money spent on it. Ambassador Jum Kim was there too. He had spent months talking with the Terok, trying to buy more time. "The Terok are getting impatient," he told Do-hyun quietly. "They ask what we are doing to prepare. I tell them we are making peace offerings." Do-hyun smiled. "Good. Let them think that." Minji stepped forward to address the crowd. "For 4 months, we have worked day and night. We have brought together the best of old Detroit and new technology. Today, we show you the result." She pulled off the tarp. Underneath stood a metal suit, shaped like a human but bigger and stronger looking. It was painted dark green with D1 written on its chest. "We call it the D1 Motown," she said. "A powered exosuit that makes its wearer 5 times stronger and protected against most weapons." Some people in the crowd looked disappointed. One military general spoke up. "This is what you've been working on. It looks basic." Han Choi, standing nearby, laughed. "You want something fancy, something with lights and shiny parts. This is Detroit. We build things that work." Minji nodded. "The D1 is simple by design. Simple means fewer parts that can break. Simple means we can build it fast using the factories we have. And most importantly," added Do-hyun, "simple means we can teach people to use it quickly." He turned to the crowd. "Who wants to try it?" After a moment, a man stepped forward. His name was Sung-go Lee. He wasn't a soldier or an engineer. He was a factory worker who had been helping build the exosuit. "I'll try," he said. Minji and 2 technicians helped Sung-go into the suit. It opened from the back, and he stepped inside. The suit closed around him like a shell. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the suit's fingers moved. Its arms lifted. Sung-go took 1 step, then another. "It feels light." His voice came from the suit, sounding surprised. "I thought it would be heavy." "Walk to that concrete block," Minji instructed. Sung-ho walked to a large block of concrete sitting in the middle of the floor. It was the size of a small car. "Now lift it," she said. People in the crowd laughed. The block looked too heavy for even 10 men to lift. Sung-go bent down. The suit moved smoothly with him. He put his hands under the block and straightened his legs. The concrete block rose from the floor as if it were made of foam. The crowd went silent. "Put it down and punch it," Do-hyun called out. Sung-ho set the block down gently. Then he made a fist and hit the concrete. The block cracked in half. Now people were talking excitedly. The military leaders moved closer, their eyes wide. "This is good," said one general. "But the Terok are stronger than this. They can tear metal with their bare hands." "We know," said Do-hyun. "The D1 isn't as strong as a Terok warrior, but it's strong enough." He pointed to the factory behind them. "And next week, this factory will make 50 D1 suits. The week after, 100. By next month, 500 per week." "How many can you make before the Terok arrive?" asked June. Do-hyun looked at Hyun and Minji. They had done the math many times. "If all goes well," said Minji, "at least 50,000. One military leader laughed. 50,000. The Terok have millions of warriors. Han Choi stepped forward. Despite his age, he stood tall and proud. Detroit once built a bomber plane every hour to fight in World War II, he said. When Detroit decides to build something, nothing can stop it. High above the factory, a Terok watching disc recorded everything. But it couldn't understand what it saw. It just saw a human in a metal suit. It didn't see the beginning of humanity's defense. It didn't see Detroit's spirit coming back to life. The sun had not yet risen, but Detroit was already awake. Lights blazed from factory windows all across the city. Inside the main factory, the first shift was ending, and the second shift was arriving. Soon, the third shift would begin. 3 shifts, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, said Jihun Kwan, looking at his clipboard. He was in charge of making sure the factories had everything they needed, just like the old days. Do-hyun walked with him through the assembly line. On either side, workers put together parts of the D1 exosuits. Some worked by hand. Some used machines. All moved with purpose. "How many today?" asked Do-hyun. 217, Jihun answered. "Tomorrow, we'll make more." Behind them, Minji was showing Hyun Choi a new part design on her tablet. The old man shook his head. "Too complex," he said. "If it breaks, it will be hard to fix. Make it simpler." Minji nodded. She had learned to listen to the old workers. They knew things she never learned in engineering school. Outside, big trucks were arriving. They carried metal, plastic, electronics, and fuel cells from all over the world. More trucks left, taking completed exosuits to training centers in other cities. "The whole world is helping," said Jihun, watching the trucks. "South Korea sends electronics. Brazil sends metals. Canada sends power cells." Do-hyun nodded, and Detroit puts it all together. In another part of the factory, Sun Kim was teaching new welders. Her hands moved quickly, joining metal parts together perfectly. The young workers watched carefully, then tried to copy her. "Not so fast," she told them. "Speed comes with practice. Get it right first." One young woman tried again, moving more slowly. This time, the weld was clean and strong. Sun smiled. "Good. Now do it 1,000 more times." The factory that had been quiet for so long now hummed with activity. Old machines that had been fixed ran alongside new ones. People who had never had jobs worked next to people who had worked in factories all their lives. In a small office overlooking the assembly line, Do-hyun met with Ambassador Jun Kim. On a screen, they watched a recording sent by the Taruk. "They keep asking what we are doing," said Jun. "I tell them we are preparing gifts to show our respect." On the screen, the Taruk leader, Supreme Commander Volk, looked impatient. His hard, shell-like face showed no emotion, but his voice was cold. "We grow tired of waiting," Volk said. "Perhaps we should come sooner to help you prepare for your new place in our empire." Do-hyun turned off the screen. "How much more time can you buy us?" Jun looked worried. "Not much. Maybe 2 more months." "We need all the time we can get," said Do-hyun. "Every day means more exosuits." They looked down at the factory floor. Row after row of D1 suits stood ready. Workers were loading them onto trucks. 5 factories are now running at full speed," said Do-hyun. 5 more will start next week." Jun nodded. "I'll do what I can. But be ready." That night, Minji found Do-hyun still in the office. He was looking at maps of the city. "You should rest," she said. "Soon," he answered. "I'm thinking about the next step. The exosuits are good, but we need more." "More what?" "More everything. The Terok think they know what humans can do. They think we're weak. But they've never seen humans when we work together. They've never seen what Detroit can build when it needs to." He pointed to more empty factories on the map. "We need weapons for the suits. We need vehicles to carry them. We need defense systems." Minji looked at the map. "That's a lot to build in the time we have left." Do-hyun smiled. "This is Detroit. Building things is what we do." High above, Terok watching discs continued to monitor Earth. They saw the factories running, the trucks moving, but they didn't understand what was happening. They saw activity but not preparation. They saw machines but not weapons. They thought humans were just working hard to please their future masters. They were wrong. Detroit was getting ready for a fight. An old sports stadium on the edge of Detroit had a new purpose. Where people once watched baseball games, humans now learned to fight for Earth's future. Do-hyun stood in what used to be the announcer's box, watching hundreds of people below. All wore D1 exosuits. They moved in groups, practicing how to work together. "They're getting better," said General Hannah Lee, standing beside him. "But are they good enough?" "They have to be," Do-hyun replied. On the field, young Mi-han led a training group. Before the Terra came, she had been a dance teacher. Now she taught people how to move in the exosuits. "The suit follows your movements." She called out to her group, "Don't fight it. Work with it. Think of it as a dance partner." Young Mi demonstrated, moving her suit smoothly across the field. The others tried to copy her. Some moved well. Others were still clumsy. "It will take time," she told them. "Your body must learn." In another part of the field, soldiers taught civilians how to fight. Not like single warriors, but like a team. 5 exosuits working together practiced surrounding one stronger target. "The Terrak fight alone," explained one soldier. "They believe in personal strength. We fight together. That's our advantage." Minji entered the announcer's box, carrying new information on her tablet. "Our spies got better pictures of Terrak weapons," she told Do-hyun. "They have energy guns that can burn through metal. And their ships have big cannons." Do-hyun nodded. "Show me." As they looked at the pictures, a loud crash came from the field. 2 trainees in exosuits had fallen. Their suits were damaged. "Get them out and send the suits back to the factory," Do-hyun called down. "We'll fix them and learn from what broke." This happened often. Each broken suit taught them how to make the next one stronger. A new group entered the stadium. These were not soldiers or young workers. They were bus drivers, teachers, and office workers. Regular people who had volunteered to learn how to use the exosuits. "We have to teach everyone we can," said General Lee. "If the Terrak attack everywhere at once, we need fighters everywhere." Do-hyun watched as the new people were helped into exosuits for the first time. Their faces showed fear, then wonder as they took their first steps. "How many people have we trained now?" he asked. "Almost 10,000, said the general. "But we need more." Young Mi approached a nervous-looking man in his 40s who had just put on an exosuit. "I'm a librarian," he told her. "I've never fought anyone." "You don't need to fight alone," she said. "You just need to do your part when the time comes." She helped him learn the basic movements. By the end of the hour, he was walking confidently in the suit. At the far end of the field, Special Forces soldiers practiced with new weapons made for the exosuits. Heavy guns that normal humans couldn't carry. Shields that could block Terrak energy weapons. "The weapons work," said Minji, watching them. "But they're still not as strong as what the Terrak have." "We don't need to be stronger," said Do-hyun. "We just need to be strong enough. And have more fighters than they expect." That evening, as the sun set, training continued under bright lights. No one wanted to waste time. Everyone knew the Terra could come any day. In a quiet corner of the stadium, Hyun Choi sat in an exosuit specially made for his old body. Despite his age, he insisted on learning to use one. "In my day," he told a group of young people sitting around him, "we built cars that changed the world. Now we're building suits that will save it." He looked at their worried faces. "The Terrak think they're better than us because they're stronger. But strength isn't just in muscles or shells. It's here too." He tapped his head. "And here." He put his hand over his heart. "Detroit knows about being knocked down," he continued. "We've been counted out many times. But we always get up again. Always." High in the night sky, a Terrak disk watched the lights of the stadium. It saw movement but couldn't understand the purpose. The Terrak had no concept of what humans were planning. They had never faced an enemy that used its weakness as a strength. They would learn soon enough. 2 weeks before the 1-year deadline, the sky over New York City lit up with strange lights. A huge Terrak ship, shaped like a pointed oval, appeared above the clouds. It was bigger than any human building, casting a shadow over the city. Similar ships appeared over other major cities around the world. People looked up in fear. The day they had prepared for was coming sooner than expected. In Detroit, Do-yeon, Min-ji, and Jung Kim watched a live video feed from the United Nations building. The world's leaders had gathered there, waiting for the Terok to speak. The big screen in the room showed static, then cleared to reveal the face of Supreme Commander Volk. His hard, shell-like skin gleamed under lights. His eyes were dark and cold. "Humans," he said, his voice deep and rough. "Your preparation time is nearly complete. We have come early to observe your progress." The President of the United Nations Security Council spoke up. "We have been preparing gifts to show our respect for the Terok Dominion." Volk made a sound like rocks scraping together. It might have been a laugh. "Gifts? We do not want gifts. We want your world and your service." His face moved closer to the screen. "We have watched you for many months. We see your weak attempts to prepare, your factories working, your people running around." The Terok leader's voice became colder. "We are tired of waiting. We offer you one last choice. Surrender now, and you will serve as workers in our empire. Resist, and we will crush you completely." The room was silent. Then Ambassador Jung Kim stepped forward. He wore formal clothes, but Do-yeon knew he had a slim exosuit hidden underneath. "Supreme Commander," Jung said politely, "we would prefer to show you our worth as equals." Volk's mouth opened, showing rows of sharp teeth. "Equals? You are soft creatures. Your bodies break easily. You hide in your buildings because you cannot survive in the open like true warriors." "We may surprise you," said Jun calmly. The Terok leader's patience ended. "Enough talk. You have 2 Earth days to surrender formally. After that, we begin our conquest. Those who resist will be crushed." The screen went dark. In Detroit, Min-ji turned to Do-yeon. 2 days. We're not ready." "We have to be," said Do-yeon. He picked up a secure phone and pressed a button. "This is Do-yeon Park. Activate all units. Operation Hard Detroit begins now." Across the city, alarm bells rang. Factory workers moved faster. Trucks loaded with exosuits rolled out to distribution centers. Trained operators ran to put on their suits. In the stadium, General Lee addressed thousands of suited fighters. "The time has come. Move to your assigned positions. Remember your training." Teams of exosuit operators loaded onto transport planes and helicopters, heading to cities around the world. Others went to hidden bunkers under Detroit. Jung Kim arrived back in Detroit by fast plane. He met Do-yeon at the command center they had built inside an old car factory. "The Terok are overconfident," said Jun. "They think this will be easy." "Good," replied Do-yeon. "Surprise is our best weapon." They looked at a map showing the positions of Terok ships around the world. One large ship hovered directly over Detroit. "They're coming here first," said Min-ji, studying the map. "They know this is where we've been building." Do-yeon nodded. "They want to destroy our factories. They think if they stop production, they stop our resistance." "How many suits do we have ready?" asked Jun. 37,000, said Min-ji. "Not the 50,000 we hoped for, but it will have to be enough." Outside, the sky darkened as the Terok ship moved lower. Its shadow fell over the city like night coming early. Hyun Choi entered the command center. Despite his age, he wore an exosuit made specially for him. "Detroit has seen dark days before," he said, looking up at the ship, "but we always find the light again." Do-yeon touched a button on his communication device. "Detroit," he said, his voice reaching everyone wearing an exosuit in the city. "They're coming. Show them what humanity can do." All across the city, people in exosuits moved into position. Factory workers, soldiers, teachers, bus drivers, all ready to fight. Detroit, the city that had been counted out so many times, was about to show the Terok what it was made of. The Terok thought humans were soft. They were about to learn how wrong they were. The morning sky turned red as Terok ships opened their doors. Small fighter craft poured out like angry bees from a hive. On the ground, the people of Detroit watched and waited. "They're coming," said Minji from the command center. Screens showed Terok landing ships dropping toward the city. Do-hyun's voice was calm. "Let them land. Remember the plan." The first Terok ships landed in open areas around the city. The doors opened, and Terok warriors stepped out. They were even more frightening in person than in pictures, tall, with hard shell-like bodies and weapons that glowed with strange energy. The Terok moved forward, walking in straight lines toward the factories. They expected no real resistance. Their leaders had told them that humans were weak, with soft bodies that broke easily. They were wrong. As the Terok reached the middle of the city, the ground shook. Hidden doors in the streets and buildings opened. From underground bunkers, thousands of humans in exosuits rose up, surrounding the Terok forces. A Terok commander pointed his weapon at the nearest human. "Surrender, soft one." The human in the exosuit was Han Choi. Despite his age, he stood tall in his D1 suit. "Detroit doesn't surrender," said Hyun. Then he gave a signal. All around the city, exosuit operators attacked as one. They moved together in teams, just as they had practiced. 5 humans surrounded each Terok warrior. 10 humans took on each Terok vehicle. The Terok fought back hard. Their energy weapons burned through some exosuits. Their strong arms tore metal. But for every exosuit they damaged, 5 more appeared. From the command center, Do-hyun and Minji watched the battle on screens. Red dots showed Terok positions. Blue dots showed human fighters. "They're pushing toward Factory 7, said Minji. "That's where we make the power cells." Do-hyun touched his communication device. Team 12 and Team 23 moved to Factory 7. Across the city, humans in exosuits ran through streets, jumped over crashed Terok ships, and climbed buildings. They moved faster than normal humans could, the suits giving them speed and strength. General Lee led a team that trapped 50 Terok warriors between buildings. The Terok fired their weapons, but the humans used metal shields to block the energy beams. "Now," shouted the general. Her team fired back with special guns made for the exosuits. The weapons weren't as powerful as Terok guns, but there were many more of them. The battle raged for hours. The Terok, used to quick victories, found themselves fighting block by block. Whenever they thought they had won an area, more humans in exosuits would appear from hidden places. In the sky, Terok ships tried to help their ground forces. They fired energy beams at the city, but most factories were underground, protected from air attacks. By sunset, the Terok commander called his forces back to their ships. Almost half of the Terok warriors who had landed were dead or captured. Many of their ships were destroyed. In the command center, tired fighters reported in. "We lost 200 exosuits in the east section," said one team leader. "But we stopped them from reaching the power plant." "Factory 3 was damaged," said another. "But we moved the assembly line to Factory 4. Production continues." Do-hyun looked at the map. The first wave of Terok had been pushed back, but more ships were coming. "They'll attack again tomorrow," he said, "with more warriors." Minji checked the production numbers on her tablet. "We can make 100 new exosuits tonight, and fix maybe 50 damaged ones." Han Choi entered the command center. His exosuit was dented and scorched, but he was unhurt. "I fought a Terok commander," he said. "He was strong, but he fought alone. I had my team with me." Reports came in from other cities around the world. The pattern was the same everywhere. The Terok had expected easy victories against soft humans. Instead, they found organized resistance from humans in exosuits. On their ships, the Terok leaders were angry and confused. This was not what they had expected. Humans were supposed to be weak, but these humans in their metal suits fought like nothing the Terok had seen before. Supreme Commander Valk received the reports with growing rage. He made a decision. Tomorrow, He would lead the attack on Detroit himself. He would show these soft humans what real strength was. The battle for Earth had just begun. For 3 days, the battle for Detroit raged without stopping. The Terraq attacked again and again. Each time, humans in exosuits pushed them back. Both sides lost fighters. Buildings fell. Parts of the city burned. But underground, the factories never stopped. As fast as exosuits were damaged, new ones were built. As fast as Terraq destroyed one defense point, humans set up another. On the 3rd day, Supreme Commander Volk himself landed in the center of Detroit. He was bigger than other Terraq, with a shell so thick that human weapons barely scratched it. He carried a weapon that could cut through buildings. "Where are your leaders?" he roared. "Let them face me." In the command center, Do-Hyun watched on screens as Volk destroyed a line of exosuits. "He's trying to draw us out," said Minji. "It's a trap." "No," said Do-Hyun. "It's a chance." He stood up and began to put on his own exosuit. "Get me Hyun Choi and 10 of our best fighters." Jum Kim grabbed Do-Hyun's arm. "You can't go out there. You're too important." "This has to end," said Do-Hyun. "And it has to end the right way." Soon, Do-Hyun led a small team through the streets. His exosuit was a new model, the D2, with better protection and stronger power. Beside him walked Minji in her engineer's suit and Hyun Choi in his custom suit. 10 more fighters followed. They found Volk in what used to be a park. The Terraq commander stood among broken trees and cracked earth. Around him lay the remains of exosuits he had destroyed. "At last," said Volk when he saw them, "the soft creatures show themselves." "We are here to talk," said Do-Hyun. Volk laughed, a harsh sound. "Talk is for the weak. Battle is for the strong." He raised his weapon. "Wait," said Hyun Choi, stepping forward. "Before you attack, answer one question. Why do you fight?" The question seemed to surprise Volk. "I fight because it is what Terraq do. We conquer. We rule. It is our right as the strongest." "And what happens when you find someone stronger?" asked Minji. "There is no one stronger," said Volk, but his voice held a touch of doubt. "Look around you," said Do-Hyun. "For 3 days you've tried to crush us, but for every one of us you defeat, 2 more take their place. Your warriors fight well 1 against 1, but we fight together, and there are billions of us." Volk was silent for a moment. Then he said, "You hide in metal suits because you are soft." "Yes, we are soft," said Hyun Choi. "Our bodies break easily, so we use our minds to build things that make us strong. That is human power." As they talked, something strange happened. More Terraq had gathered to watch, and more humans in exosuits too. But no one was fighting. They were listening. "We don't want to destroy you," said Do-Hyun. "We just want to live, to build, to explore. We can do that as enemies, fighting until one side is gone. Or we can do it as—" He paused, searching for the right word. "As equals." Volk looked at the humans, then at his own warriors. Many were injured. For the first time in Terraq history, they had not quickly won a battle. "You were supposed to be easy to conquer," he said, his voice quieter now. "Soft creatures with no strength." "We are soft," said Minji. "But softness can be a kind of strength too. It lets us bend without breaking. It makes us find new ways to solve problems." Volk lowered his weapon. "I have fought many enemies. None have stood against us like you have." He looked at the humans in their exosuits. "You have earned respect." That day in the ruins of Detroit, something new began. Not friendship, that would take time, but understanding. The Terraq and humans agreed to stop fighting and start talking. As word spread around the world, people cheered. The Earth was safe. In the weeks that followed, the factories of Detroit changed again. Now they built not just exosuits for defense, but ships for exploration, tools for building, and machines to heal a damaged Earth. The Terraq learned that strength comes in many forms, and humans remembered what they could do when they worked together. Years later, when human and Terok ships traveled to the stars side by side, people would tell the story of how Detroit, a city that had been knocked down many times, helped save the world by getting back up one more time. They thought we were soft. They didn't know about Detroit.